Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're taking a closer look at mesenchymal stem cells, right,
MSCs.
MSCs, and their potential role in treating COVID-19.
Yeah.
You sent over this super interesting research review paper,
Yeah.
and it really seems like MSCs could be a game changer,
For sure.
especially when it comes to those severe COVID cases,
Yeah.
the ones dealing with that cytokine storm.
Yeah. That's one of the things that really fascinates me about MSCs is that
Yeah.
they could be like the body's own internal repair team.
It really is amazing.
Yeah.
And to think that these MSCs are found almost everywhere, like in almost every tissue.
It's true. They are. And it's not just that they're present, it's their capabilities that set them apart. Like they can self-renew, meaning they can make more MSCs,
Got it.
but they can also differentiate.
Okay, now you're just using big words.
No, but really, differentiate means they can transform into different cell types, like cartilage or bone cells, depending on what the body needs. But I think the most important ability, at least when we're talking about COVID, is their power to modulate the immune system.
Modulate, so like adjust.
Exactly. So, like, one way they do that is by releasing these molecules like
Yeah.
IL-10.
Okay, and that does what?
Well, IL-10 directly suppresses those inflammatory cells.
And in severe COVID cases, that's huge.
It is.
And that's all because of the cytokine storm.
Right, exactly. Because you see, in severe COVID cases, the immune system kind of freaks out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the cytokine storm. It's not just like regular inflammation. It's more like the immune system going into overdrive.
And attacking the body itself.
Yeah, attacking its own organs, which is obviously super dangerous.
I can see why that would be bad news.
Yeah, it is. So these pro-inflammatory cytokines, these signaling molecules, things like IL-6 and TNF-alpha.
I've heard of those.
Yeah, well, they normally help to ramp up the immune response, but during a cytokine storm, they just go crazy.
So they actually end up doing more harm than good.
Exactly, and that can lead to things like ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome,
Right.
or even multiple organ failure. It's a major reason why people die from severe COVID.
So that's where the MSCs come in, right? Like, they can stop that overreaction from happening.
That's the hope.
Like, they're little firefighters.
Yeah. Studies are showing that MSCs might be crucial in fighting that cytokine storm.
Stepping in and calming things down.
Exactly. It's like they get dispatched to the damage site, especially the lungs.
And the paper mentioned they release these anti-inflammatory factors
They do.
to kind of soothe the immune system.
Yeah, and they also encourage the production of these things called regulatory T cells. They think of them as the peacekeepers of the immune system. They help prevent that dangerous overreaction from happening.
Right, so they regulate the response, make sure it doesn't go too far.
Exactly. Figure 1 in the paper actually shows a visual of this process.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I think we should touch on this whole ACE2 receptor thing,
Oh, yeah.
because that seems pretty important.
It is. So ACE2 receptors, they're like doorways on the surface of our cells.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they're also the entry point for the SARS-CoV-2 virus.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's how the virus gets in.
And these receptors, they're in lots of places, not just the lungs, right?
Right, like the heart, blood vessels, the gut, kidneys, even the brain.
Which explains why COVID can affect so many different parts of the body.
And why those complications can get so serious.
But the amazing thing is MSCs don't express ACE2 receptors.
They don't.
So they're like invisible to the virus.
Exactly. They can't be infected, which is a huge advantage.
Because they can just go in and repair things without getting sick themselves.
Exactly. Now, the paper also highlights some recent studies from China looking at MSCs in COVID patients.
What did they find?
Well, one study focused on a really sick patient who was on a ventilator.
Oh, wow.
And they were getting worse, even with intensive care. Then they got 3 infusions of umbilical cord-derived MSCs. 4 days after that first infusion, they were off the ventilator and walking.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is pretty remarkable.
What about the other study? What did they find?
So that one had a larger group of patients.
Okay.
And they were really looking at how the MSCs impacted the immune system.
Right.
And what they found was that the MSC infusions, they actually helped to prevent that dangerous overactivation of the immune system.
Oh, wow.
Even in older patients.
Who are more at risk.
Exactly. They're generally more vulnerable to severe COVID.
So it sounds like the MSCs are kind of doing double duty.
In a way, yeah.
They're protecting against the cytokine storm and
Yeah.
helping to repair the damage.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And did they mention anything about side effects?
Yeah, both studies said that the MSC treatment seemed safe.
That's
No serious side effects, which is really important with any new therapy.
for sure, especially during a pandemic.
Absolutely.
So what's next? What's the future of this MSC therapy? For COVID, and maybe other diseases.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need more research, bigger clinical trials.
Right.
We got to figure out how to optimize the treatment protocols, but the potential is huge.
It is.
Like, imagine if we could use MSCs to treat not just COVID, but other inflammatory diseases like ARDS, which we talked about.
Yeah.
That can be caused by all sorts of things, not just viruses.
It's mind-blowing to think that these tiny little cells could have such a big impact on how we treat diseases.
I know, right? It's pretty amazing.
And, the research paper even mentioned something about using exosomes.
Oh, yeah.
What are those exactly?
So exosomes are like these little packages that the MSCs release, and they're filled with all these beneficial molecules.
Interesting.
And early research suggests that the exosomes themselves might actually have antiviral properties.
Oh, wow.
Like they're mimicking the good stuff from the MSCs.
So they could be another potential treatment option?
Potentially, yeah. It's a whole new area of research. It's super exciting.
So we've talked about the potential of MSCs, the challenges, the research that's going on, all the possibilities.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. Is there anything else from all of this that you think our listeners should really take away?
There's one thing that I think is important, and it's not really stated directly in the research. Just a reminder that the human body is incredibly complex.
Yeah.
And incredibly resilient. Like these MSCs, these internal repair crews we all have, they're a testament to how powerful our own biology is.
It's pretty humbling when you think about it.
It is.
That our bodies have this ability to heal, and we're
Yeah.
just figuring out how to tap into it.
Exactly. And think about the possibilities for personalized medicine.
Oh, yeah.
As we learn more about these MSCs, where they come from, bone marrow, umbilical cord, even menstrual blood,
Wow.
we could tailor treatments to each patient.
Really maximize the effectiveness.
Exactly, and minimize the risks.
So for our listener, why should they care about these tiny little MSCs?
This research gives us a reason to be hopeful in the middle of a pandemic, and even beyond that, we're seeing a potential new tool to fight inflammatory diseases.
It's amazing what science can do.
It really is. It shows how important research is and investing in this field.
Absolutely. And for anyone who wants to dive deeper, I highly recommend checking out the clinical trials listed in the paper.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Do some research on ACE2 receptors and COVID, and just stay curious about the possibilities of MSC therapy.
Definitely.
This deep dive has hopefully given you a peek into the world of stem cell research.
And how it could really change the future of medicine.
Exactly. Who knows? Maybe one day MSC therapy will be as normal as taking an aspirin,
Wouldn't that be something?
helping us heal from all kinds of things. It's a future worth working towards.
I think so.
Well, that's it for our deep dive into MSCs and COVID-19.
It was a good one.
Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and let's keep exploring the wonders of science together. Makes you wonder what else is out there,
Yeah, hidden in our own cells.
just waiting to be discovered.
It really does. And to think we're just scratching the surface with MSC.
There's so much we still don't know. Exciting to think about all the possibilities.
It is.
Maybe one day MSC therapy will be, totally normal.
Like taking an aspirin or something.
Exactly, helping us heal from, I don't know, everything.
That would be amazing.
A future worth striving for.
Definitely.
And that future might be closer than we think.
You really think so?
I do. The research is moving so fast.
It is. It's incredible.
So for our listener, if you want to learn more about all this,
Yeah?
I really encourage you to, keep digging.
Yeah.
Check out those clinical trials mentioned in the paper.
Good idea.
Read up on ACE2 receptors and COVID.
Yeah.
And just stay curious about MSC therapy.
It's a fascinating field.
It is. This deep dive has hopefully, given you some insights
A glimpse into this world of stem cell research.
and how it could completely change medicine.
Revolutionize it.
Yeah, exactly. We hope you found it as interesting as we did.
I know I did.
And remember, there are so many incredible discoveries out there.
Just waiting to be made.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
Keep that curiosity alive.
That's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us.